My father, Henry Akola, Hank to most, Boppy to his grandkids, was a man of grit, humor, and an unshakable will to push through life's hardships. He taught me that no matter how rough things got, there was always room for laughter and resilience. Born in 1910 in Virginia, Minnesota, to Finnish immigrants Emil and Tinny, his early years were anything but stable. The family moved back to Finland for a time while he was a child and returned to the U.S. during World War II. His return was nothing short of an adventure navigating minefields and harbors. He always said, "Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you earn." And he certainly earned it. He had a stubborn streak and a mischievous sense of humor. As a teenager, he was a talented swimmer, nearly making it to the Olympics, but money held him back. He dabbled in college football, but after one brutal practice, he decided he had better ways to spend his time. Instead, he mastered trick shots in pool halls, a skill that earned him admiration and occasional reprimands from teachers who saw little future in hustling pool games. One of his best stories came from his time in Hawaii during his military service. He had taken up horseback riding, and one day his horse got spooked. The saddle slipped, and suddenly he was hanging on for dear life as the horse galloped full speed down a street. A woman hanging laundry looked up just in time to see him barreling toward her. She threw her basket in the air and dove for cover. Dad would laugh every time he told that story. She thought I was some cowboy runaway. But life wasn't always a laughing matter. A tragic bus accident nearly took his arm, leading to 20 grueling surgeries, many without penicillin, which was being reserved for soldiers. Instead, doctors used maggots to clean the gangrene from his wounds. Where others might have given up, he adapted. He learned to write with his left hand, mastered power tools, and refused to let the accident define him. That accident also led him to my mother, Esther, his nurse, his love, and his fiercest supporter. From the moment he saw her, he was smitten. "That girl over there," he told a fellow patient, "I'm going to date her." And he did. Their relationship was built on humor and perseverance. Once he pointed to a rundown shack and teased, "That's our dream house." She didn't buy it, but she bought into him. With the settlement money from his accident, he opened Hank's Tavern in Minnesota. It became a lively place, full of laughter, camaraderie, and more than a few expertly played pool games. But tavern life and family life didn't mix well. My mother gave him an ultimatum: the bar or the family. He didn't hesitate. He sold the business and moved us to California for a fresh start. Dad thrived in California, managing warehouses with his usual no-nonsense efficiency. He even redesigned an inventory system that helped an airplane parts company near Lockheed Airport streamline operations, but work was just a part of who he was. He loved building things, from furniture to a uniquely designed bookcase, one he even patented. When a patent attorney told him it wasn't worth pursuing, he did it anyway, and he succeeded. Perhaps my favorite story about my father was from the Great Depression when he was a hobo, riding the rails in search of work. He had a natural charm, a way of making the best out of nothing. He and his friends would often visit a small hobo village for a warm meal. One of his fellow travelers was a little better off than the rest and liked to showcase his wealth by ordering a roast beef sandwich when the rest settled for a bowl of soup. Once, in a prank that became legend, he secretly placed an oyster in his mouth, pretended to gag, and spit it onto the bar in front of the man with the roast beef sandwich. The poor man, seeing the oyster slide right next to his plate, promptly lost his appetite and bolted outside, where he lost what little of the roast beef sandwich he managed to eat before the incident. Underneath all the jokes and pranks, though, was a man who carried silent struggles. His disability weighed on him, making him feel at times like less than he was, but he never let it stop him. He built, he created, he persevered. His legacy wasn't in wealth or fame. It was in the laughter,
the lessons, and the resilience he passed on. He taught me that life will throw hardships your way, but you can always find a way to laugh, adapt, and move forward. He was Henry Akola, and he lived a life worth remembering.